When we have this bounce and we come back over and then we break back down underneath it, that's a little bit concerning to me. But normally, if we double bottom, usually what happens with the implied volatility is it remains relatively stable on this pullback. So the market set this in, we had our bullish day. This should be our bottom. The market, yeah, it breaks out a little bit high, comes back into range. All super that concerned about that in isolation. And then I get this move here. I'm still not like super concerned about that normally, unless I get something like this going on.
Before we get rolling here, just a reminder to please like and share our videos. Your support helps us to continue to bring you the wonderful content that we share with you each and every week.
This is just keying a bunch of stuff together. If I go into Monday and I like get those prices and do multiple days, and I go to Tuesday, I get a rise in implied volatility because we had that really big down day. It went a little bit into backwardation. It's kind of expected. It's like not severe. What happened the next day? Oh, I went right back to normal. This is like a normal reaction from the blue to the purples, like a normal reaction for the type of move that happened. I'm always trying to compare what's happening here compared to the type of move that happened. Well, I had a break of support intraday. It was a big relative move to what has been moving. If I close back above, I'm actually in a bullish candle. That's good. But again, that expansion and move is going to raise your implied volatility in the front markets. Then on this day here, the green day, we closed back above that candle. That's bullish. Market should be going, right? And on the next day, look what happened here. We went hard into backwardation on the 5th. I'm looking at my charting here on the 5th. On a normal retest, the market might do this, but right, the implied volatility straightens out. On this retest, it's going to kind of like stay. If this is like completely expected, it's going to kind of stay in this zone right in here with this retest. Maybe even drop even back down into here. But we didn't get that. We got this big thing and it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is not going to continue up at this point. There's something going on that stopped the market from going up. And there's definitely a concern there. We know what the news is because we know, we got the war thing and the oil prices are going crazy. This basically in combination with the type of candle we got, that reaction is not typical of that type of candle. Does that make sense? It's like, this is a bounce. This is our relief. This is not a problem. Technically, it's not a problem, but the implied volatility market's freaking out over it. That's not good. What happens Friday? Technically, this move, to me, isn't a big deal. This is just a retest to the bottom, right? But the implied volatility market, like I said, is not reacting as if that's what that is. Something is up. As early as that day, or maybe that was even this day, but it doesn't really matter. My point being is that this move here on a retest of a bottom is much more severe than it should have been. So there's definitely a concern that this is going down, right? The implied volatility market believes that there's going to be a move down off of this. In addition to that, we also have other clues. We have other clues in the other indexes, right? So if I go to the Russell actually broke our support level. When you have this bar come into play, the retest down to here is normal, and we closed over the low, right? So if you were to look at this, it's like, oh, that's a bullish candle. We still closed above that level. That's not really a problem. Now you see this here, and you're like, okay, that's a support break. Now I'm looking at price pattern targets, which are probably down here somewhere. So we have that on that index. We have a failure in the Dow technical levels actually here on Thursday, which followed through on Friday. Also saying we're probably going down. NDX has been pretty strong. If you look at this whole thing, we got this bounce. NDX is holding high here, right? So this is a little bit different. NDX is holding high, but it's still, if it's going to retest, it's still going to want to come down to like here, right? So this is just a normal move, fluctuations in the NDX. We're just in zone. So the information's telling us that we may have a rough weekend. And we had a rough weekend on Sunday open, right? So the only downside, the only downside, right. So if you're looking at the VIX Central numbers, you can't see these until the next business day, right? So you can't see that at Friday's close, but you know what those numbers are. You can just look at your horizontal skew in your software, right? Um, right. So we could just look at the horizontal skew in the software. We could also look at things like, all right, so fast ways just to see this is if I go basically if I just go into here and I'm just looking at these numbers, I can see that, right? So these numbers, like I don't have to know what the number is on, like I don't have to look at I like never have to look at a VIX Central thing. Um, I can see this number and I can see a big expansion in that number from one day to the next, right? So I could tell that, the chart did this, right, and kind of closed here, slightly above this low. And I can tell that this number went crazy, right? It went from, I don't know what the numbers were, but I could tell if this number maybe went from, it probably would have went from like 50 to 85 or something, right? And I'd be like, oh, well, that reaction's big, right? So I don't have to look at that at all. And other places on this particular like I can see that on any software basically, or I can calculate that manually by, adding up the at the money prices of the options, right? So I can do all of that, or right. So there's a lot of different ways to see this stuff, guys. You don't have to like look at a particular place. It all comes together. It's in our product depth, and I can see skew curve numbers in here, right? So, all right. So moving forward here. For the horizontal skew, you mean you can just look at the shift? Well, you can look at the shift in the T plus. That's going to be vertical skew. Horizontal skew you can't see in a T plus 0 line. You can see vertical skew in a T plus 0 line, right? So vertical skew is the difference between month to month. The horizontal skew line, you can, if you want to see the line itself, you can, you have to look at like VIX Central. You can see it in O&E software, but that's also a day delayed. And you can basically, your horizontal skew is like difference between this and this, right? The difference between these. That's what your horizontal skew is. You can actually see it much more granularly here. Like you could make a spreadsheet with a graph in an Excel, for example. In VIX Central, you can only see what every 30 days or whatever it is on VIX Central. I can literally see this. I could literally graph this out and see my vertical skew from day to day. I pick my 0 and my 11 and my 21 or whatever, right? I could map out the skew that way. That's what it is. Like a lot of people say, well, this has horizontal skew and I have to see a graph. It's like, if you understand what it is, you don't have to see a graph. You can just look at the difference in these numbers. You could like take these numbers, know the asset price, and reverse calculate the implied volatility level in the Shoals equation, right? At each level, right? So if you understand what's going on, you understand all this. And actually, you actually see it in the percentage, right? So you can literally see it there too. So all that information is there. It's just, you can graph it out differently.